Hello, everybody. I'm Rob Martel, host of Core Pursuit. Thank you for everyone joining us on Facebook and everybody here on the live Zoom broadcast. I appreciate it. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to Kate, who stepped in and filled in for me a couple weeks ago. I really appreciate it. I was a little under the weather and have been on crutches, but needless to say, Kate did an excellent job. I've watched the broadcast, so thank you, Kate. Great teamwork, and I really do appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about crushing the myths of meditation and visualization. I'm really excited and happy to be talking about this topic, as it's something very close to home for me, something that has impacted my life in several ways, something that I have benefited enormously throughout my life. It started way back when I was playing sports, and I had a coach that was really into performance visualization. And that's where he started, and he taught us to use visualization for sport and for performance and things like that. And the more and more I got into it, the better and better my career got. And I really and truly believe that it was a large part of some of the successes that I was able to have throughout my career as an athlete, and continue to have in some of the things that I do on a regular basis. And in my career as a police officer, I had a wonderful boss that implemented some visualization techniques early on in my career. And in the very beginning of all this, I thought it was a waste of time and that it was useless and it was stupid. I didn't really understand sitting down and picturing things happening before they happen would actually benefit me at all in my life. When I came into policing, I was very open to anything that was going to aid my safety, to help make sure that I was on the right track and I was able to get home to my family at the end of the day. So I had a boss that would bring us through a whole lot of visualization exercises on a regular basis. And I decided to start doing these exercises constantly when I went home, and I would visualize certain things happening, and I would picture myself in a really bad situation where, I'd been cut or I'd been shot, and the feelings and the sensations that my body would go through, and what I would be thinking and how I would be feeling and all those types of things. And the more and more I did it, the more and more detailed I could become. And the more and more I did that, the more and more I could feel and see things and hear things that were going on around me. And the more and more I did that, I could really start to put myself in that situation. I could smell, the guns going off and things like that. And it just so happened that at some point in my career, I was in a really terrible situation in a dark alley somewhere, like all the stories start, right? But truthfully, it had happened to me, and I was in an altercation with somebody, and I ended up getting hurt pretty badly. And as I went through that experience, things just started to happen. It was almost like an out-of-body experience for me, where I just kind of went through the motions. It was like I'd been there before, and the things that I was seeing and things that I was feeling, it was like I had already been there. So I was able to stay calm, and I was really able to really go through the motions and do what I had to do in order to be successful, in order to stay alive. So I talk about this subject of meditation and visualization very passionately, because I really and strongly believe that visualization has saved my life. And that's why I kind of go on and talk about it so much. It's why a lot of my clients ask me about it, and we go on and we deal with it. So I want to get into the nuts and bolts. I got a lot to talk about today, so bear with me. Today we're going to talk about the difference between actual meditation and visualization. I often clump them together. I often refer to visualization all in a whole, but they are truly two pretty different things. So we're going to talk about the difference between the two. We're going to talk about the benefits of both of those things. We're going to answer and crush the myths and the misconceptions of meditation and visualization. We're going to talk a little bit about how we do it, and at the very end, if we have time, I'm going to try a practice guided visualization. I'm not sure we're going to have time. I've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to try to bang through this as quick as I can. Meditation, what is it? As the old saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Well, if that's true, then the journey of meditation begins with the cultivation of awareness. It's all about self-awareness, awareness in general, or attention. In fact, awareness is the mental muscle that carries you along and sustains you on your journey in life. Not only at the start, but also every step of your way. No matter which path or technique you use, the secret of meditation lies in developing, focusing, and directing your awareness. And I think that's really, really important. Meditation offers a time-honored antidote to fragmentation, alienation, isolation, stress, and even more importantly for me, stress-related illness and things like depression. Although it won't necessarily solve external problems in your life, it won't deal with events, it does help you develop inner resilience, balance, and a strength to kind of roll with the punches and come up with creative solutions to those problems. A sense of how it works, really, if you think of a computer and the way that a computer is hardwired, and the way we build a computer is we essentially build the computer to be the way we want it to be. We put all the information in there, we hardwire the thing, we build it from scratch, and then it performs the way that a computer performs. Well, we as people have been programmed to actually experience life's inevitable ups and downs with stress and anxiety and dissatisfaction, that fight or flight response. Our body is made and is programmed to survive. That is the pure function of our body, is to survive. However, you have the actual power to change this programming within yourself and be able to experience things like inner peace, harmony, and pure joy. To speak of meditation and visualization is to speak of a topic so vast that generalization is almost impossible. Mystics and monks, athletes, warriors, therapists, and medical professionals all have their particular slant on meditation and visualization, how they should be accomplished. Yet a few general principles are really true across the board. Meditation and visualization are mental exercises with some characteristics in common and some differences, and we're going to explore a lot of those as we go on. I'm not really going to follow too much about what's on the screen, but those are some of the really important points that I'm going to touch upon. I'm going to bounce a little bit back and forth between meditation and visualization, kind of what they are and how we go forward. Meditation, for example, is a state of really deep concentration. It brings the mind into focus. They often say like a one-pointedness. In doing so, it helps to block out or quiet that typical mental chatter that most people constantly carrying around in their mind. Buddhists speak of that mental chatter as your monkey mind, the mind that darts from topic to topic. And trust in me, I know all about that. Meditation is kind of like giving that monkey mind a banana, giving it one thing to focus on and keep it from hopping from topic to topic or one thing to the next. That focus can simply be a breath. It can be the sensations of the body, a mantra, or maybe even just a sound. It can also be a static or moving image. Visualization, on the other hand, is a bit different. When the focus of a meditation is an image, the meditation becomes a visualization. So very easily put, visualization is actually a meditation. Visualization is sometimes called mental imagery or mental rehearsal. It can take the form of a visual thing or even a kinesthetic view. If you're using a kinesthetic focus, you create in your mind the experience of doing something, and you might feel the actual sensations in your body. And that's what I was talking about earlier about my scenario in the policing world or in performance. You might actually experience the action and its consequences in great detail in your mind. If you're performing just a simple visualization, you picture a setting, another person, or a sequence of events, something kind of outside yourself. Visualization can actually be both visual and kinesthetic at the same time. You can visualize yourself in a setting, experience the impact of the setting on your body and your mind. That, for me, is one of the most common ones, the one that I use on a very consistent basis. And the one that we're going to use with Core Pursuit a lot, and probably one of the ones that we're going to talk about more in depth, because I really believe that by doing that, it allows you to be able to go so far above and beyond and use things in NLP, like creating and putting a goal into your future by using your timeline. But that leads me to meditation that's not really a visualization, because there are so many different kinds of meditation. And because visualization is typically a specific kind of meditation, not all meditation actually involves visualization. A lot of people get confused in that part of it. Mantra meditation, for example, involves bringing the mind to focus on just a word or a phrase, which you repeat over and over again, either aloud or just in your mind. Meditation on breath involves keeping the mind focused on the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves your body. That's often used a lot to reduce stress and anxiety and just relax. Both of these meditations try to wean your mind from the steady stream of images that cross it. So it actually tries to block out a lot of those images and that mental chatter that's going on in your head. The purpose of these meditations is to stop visualization, quiet the mind, and to actually bring you just more internally. And visualization meditation cultivates mental imagery. The purpose of these visualizations are so wide-ranging as mental images themselves. Visualization for relaxation might include you creating a mental image of a relaxing place or a natural landscape or a place that feels very safe and secure to you. Visualization for healing might include a mental picture of your body attacking an illness or a disease, or of a healing light bathing the body. Visualization for things like religious purposes might include mental images of important religious figures or heaven, hell, things like that. Visualization for athletic training purposes is typically more kinesthetic and involves seeing and feeling the body perform a sport, like I talked about before. So when we talk about meditation versus visualization, meditation is more of that deep concentration, bringing your mind into a really strong focus and attempting to quiet the mind chatter. It's really, really, really focused on going inward and going inside yourself, creating more awareness. Whereas visualization is actually encouraging an active mind and encouraging creativity. It's involved in very active mind and the senses, and the more you get to do that, you're forgetting about all that other mind chatter and the things going on throughout your mind, because your mind is so actively doing the visualization. And meditation can calm your nervous system, whereas visualization can actually reprogram it. And that's a really important saying. I think it kind of puts it all into a nutshell, that meditation is often used to really just calm us down, relax us, and visualization can really help to reprogram kind of that internal part. We'll move on to some of the most significant benefits of meditation and visualization. And often when I do this presentation, I get a lot of people that kind of roll their eyes and are hard to believe in some of these things. And I just like to start this point out by saying, I'm not making this shit up. This is all stuff that is scientifically proven. There are tons of studies that are out there that have studied people that do meditation, visualization, things like that. These are things that are the most common effects that are proven by doing meditation. And we'll talk a little bit more about kind of the intricacies of it in a little bit, but I want to touch upon some of these things anyway, and we'll go through them. And if somebody has any questions, please feel free to send me a message. Some of the physiological benefits from doing meditation or visualization are, and some of the most popular ones are a decrease in your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure is probably one of the most common and popular ones that a lot of people get to see the benefit from. A quicker recovery from stress or relieving stress. Some of the ones that are not so common, that not a lot of people hear about, are people that tend to do a meditation or visualization on a regular basis. Some of the studies have shown that those people have fewer heart attacks and strokes, or it increases longevity, the lifespan. People that do it on a regular basis seem to live longer. It actually decreases the consumption of energy for people throughout their day and the need for oxygen. So in turn, that means we have a whole lot more energy and zest for life as we go forward. It allows you to have deeper and slower breathing, helps with muscle relaxation and a reduction in the intensity of pain. And I can touch upon that right now. The reason I missed the last core pursuit, I've been kind of in a wheelchair and on crutches for the last few weeks, still right now, and I've been in a lot of pain. Even the doctor had kind of said I don't take a lot of the painkillers the doctors have prescribed, and he asked how I'm kind of getting through it, and that was my first response. Is I've really been used to using meditation visualization, and that's kind of how I deal with the pain. And it doesn't make me any more special than any other person. It's just a technique that I've been happy to use throughout a large part of my life. The other big one, physiological, is it allows us to really just reduce stress and become more self-aware. It allows that self-awareness of everything that's going on throughout our body to be more prevalent in our minds. And psychologically, this is usually the one that a lot of people kind of tend to go towards. You have people that do it on a regular basis are more happy and they have more peace of mind. It's just the way it is. They have greater enjoyment of the present moment, the right here, the now, the today. They have less emotional reactivity, fewer intense negative emotions and dramatic mood swings. That just means that their reaction to things are more thought out. They're in control of those emotions a whole lot more than maybe somebody that doesn't do it as often. Better relationships, increased empathy, enhanced creativity and self-actualization. And the enhanced creativity is a big one. It's why so many artists, musicians, and people like that use it on a regular basis. Reductions in both acute and chronic anxiety, things like, and I will even add in depression. It's why some practitioners, some doctors, sometimes they'll prescribe things like meditation or visualization, not so much here in the Western world, but other parts of the world. It's a great complement to psychotherapy, coaching, and other approaches in treatment for addictions. And it helps to feeling of being more centered or grounded and balanced. And I talk about that a lot. I feel as though if we can become more balanced in our life, we've got to step up and we're an edge ahead of everybody else in being able to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish the way we want to accomplish them. And the last one there, we're going to touch upon it again in a minute, but increasing your appreciation, gratitude, and love. And to me, that's kind of the secret of life. Meditation versus visualization, both things are used to heal the body. We've talked about that a great deal. It's got a lot of benefits. Both are used to reduce stress. I think that's the most common one. I think that's the one that people, when they think about meditation or visualization, that's where their mind goes. I think everybody correlates reducing stress to meditation. Both are used for relaxation and clarity. I think like I said, I think that's a really important one. Whether you're in the business world, whether you're in the arts, whether you're in an athletic point of view from performance type of things, whether you're performing something, public speaking, whether it's just in your life, I think the ability to really become self-aware and gain clarity of everything that you're going on, it really helps you in your relationships in your everyday life. Both are used to achieve desired outcomes and goals and goal setting and things like that. We're going to talk a lot more about it. I think everybody knows I've made it very clear that I'm an NLP practitioner, and one of the parts of being in NLP is timeline therapy. And we can actually take a goal of yours, put it in your timeline, and see it come to fruition. So that's where they kind of talk a lot about that. And they both increase longevity and lifespan. The secret of life increases appreciation, gratitude, and love. All of these things that I speak about and the benefits of meditation, visualization, they're not all going to happen to every single person. They're not going to always happen quickly, and sometimes it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time spent, and you end up seeing kind of your life change and unfold as you move forward from these things. So I think that sometimes a lot of people, they sit down and you know, they might do it for a week or 2 weeks and they get frustrated because they don't start to see the results, because we live in such a result-driven world. But I think it's really important to kind of stick to it, and we're going to get into it in just a minute in the myths. But not everybody is going to see all the results, just like you're not going to see all the results for you and I might work out the exact same way every single day. Our bodies aren't going to transform in the exact same way. We're going to see different results by doing the same thing. And that's the same type of thing when it comes to a meditation or a visualization. In the past 40 years, meditation has entered kind of the mainstream of modern Western culture. It's been prescribed by physicians and practiced by everyone from high-end business executives, artists, scientists, students, teachers, military personnel, and on a very promising note, even politicians. Despite the growing popularity of meditation, some very prevailing misconceptions about the practice are a large barrier that prevent many people from trying meditation or continuing meditation and receiving kind of its profound benefits of the body, mind, and spirit. So I'm going to talk about 5 of kind of the most common myths that I've dealt with in my own practice and in my own dealings with kind of meditation, visualization. And again, like I said, for me, I use visualization a whole lot more in my personal and in my professional life. I don't touch upon just like a normal meditation too often, unless life really kind of unravels for me and I really got to kind of get back on track, and that's where I kind of turn to that. So meditate. So myth number 1 is that meditation is a spiritual or religious practice. I think that that's one that a lot of people kind of see as being true or thought to being true. I think it's an old way of looking at things, because I think a lot of people realize that that's not the case anymore. Excuse me. But the truth of the matter is that meditation is a practice that takes us beyond kind of the noisy chatter of the mind into a place of stillness and silence. It doesn't require a specific spiritual belief, and in fact, many people from many different religions practice meditation without any conflict to their current religious beliefs. Some meditators have no religious beliefs at all, in fact. They meditate simply to experience inner quietness and the numerous physical and mental benefits of that actual practice, including things like I've already talked about, blood pressure, stress reduction, and restful sleep. That was one that I didn't talk about earlier that I really want to talk about, is that visualization meditation can really help if you're having a hard time sleeping. It'll really bring you into a nice, restful, deep sleep. And the original reason that Deepak Chopra, and I think a lot of people that are watching probably have heard of Deepak Chopra before. He's really been larger than life kind of in the media and stuff these days. He talks about healing and he's big into meditation. But the reason he actually got into it was in order to stop smoking and to deal with that addiction. Meditation actually enables us to enjoy whatever it is we want to do in our lives more fully and a whole lot more happily. Whether it's playing sports or taking care of our children or simply advancing in our career, it's pretty safe to say, I think in today's day and age, you don't have to be a yogi or of a specific religion or spiritual belief to be practicing meditation. It's something for everyone. It's something everyone can do. So I think it's pretty safe to say that meditation for a spiritual or religious practice is false. One of the largest ones that I run into today is that people say I don't have time to meditate. The truth is that there's busy productive executives who have not missed one single meditation in over 25 years. And if you make meditation a priority, you'll do it just like anything else in your life. If you feel like your schedule is too full, remember that even just a few minutes of meditation is better than nothing. I encourage you to not talk yourself out of meditating just because it's a bit late or you're getting a bit sleepy. In life's paradoxical way, when we spend time meditating on a regular basis, we actually end up with more time. When we meditate, we kind of dip in and out of the timeless, spaceless realm of consciousness, the state of pure awareness that is our source of everything that manifests in the universe. Our breathing and our heart rate slow down, our blood pressure lowers, and our body decreases the production of stress hormones and other chemicals that speed up our aging process and give us the subjective feeling that we're running out of time. In meditation, we're in a state of restful alertness that is extremely refreshing to the body and the mind. Our body and mind actually want that restfulness. As people stick with their meditation ritual, they notice that they are able to accomplish more while actually doing less. Instead of struggling so hard to achieve goals, they spend more time kind of in the flow, aligned with the universal intelligence that really orchestrates absolutely everything. So what I'm trying to say is that the more and more you make excuses for not investing in your own being and your own satisfaction, the more you're taking away from being able to do those things, first of all, a whole lot more effectively, with a whole lot more clarity, and probably creating more time for you in your busy life. Every single time I talk about this myth and I talk about this part of it, I have really, really, really busy people in the room, and I see their eyes rolling constantly and kind of telling me that I don't understand, or that's what they're thinking a lot of times, of just how busy their life is. And, you know, I'm not asking you to sit down for 4.5 hours or an hour every single day to do a meditation or a visualization. We're saying whatever time you can invest at that point in time would be sufficient. If you're not willing to invest time in yourself and in your own well-being, at some point in time, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be in a week from now, but at some point in time, that world of yours that is going to become overwhelming. It's going to crash at some point in time. I can promise you that. So this, I'm not saying that you have to do this each and every single day. I think it's another tool on the tool belt to really use effectively in your life. The third myth is you have to quiet your mind in order to have a successful meditation practice. So a lot of people think that when they meditate, they have to forget about absolutely everything going on in their life and in their mind. And this is probably the absolute number one myth about meditation, visualization, and is the cause of most people kind of giving up in frustration, because they sit down to meditate maybe 20 times and they're constantly getting that monkey mind chatter in their head, and their thoughts are and they get stressed out and overwhelmed, and they say, this isn't going to work for me, it's stupid, I can't do it, it's too hard, forget it, and they give up. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that meditation isn't about stopping our thoughts or trying to empty our mind at all. Both of these approaches only create stress and more noisy internal chatter. Like I had said, the more we try to quiet and forget about things, the more our mind is going to throw thoughts into our brain and cause a whole lot more stress. We can't actually stop or control thoughts. It's not possible. But we can decide how much attention we give to them. Although we can't impose quiet on our mind through meditation, we can actually find kind of the quiet that already exists in the space between our thoughts. And a lot of people refer to that as kind of the gap. The space between our thoughts is pure consciousness, pure silence, and pure peace. When we meditate, we use an object of attention, such as our breath or an image or a mantra. And that allows our mind to actually relax into a silent stream of awareness. When our thoughts arise, then, and they inevitably they will, we don't need to judge them or try to push them away or try to figure them out. Instead, we just gently return our attention to our object of attention, that breath or that image. In every meditation, there are moments, even if only microseconds, when the mind will dip into that gap and experience the refreshment of that pure just awareness. And as you meditate on a regular basis, you'll spend more and more time in that state of expanded awareness and silence. The biggest thing I always tell people is that, like anything else in your life, meditation is going to take some practice. And it took me a long time to get really kind of what I feel is good at it and getting the most out of it. And I can truly tell you that now when I go into a really deep visualization, I can really live that experience. I can honestly say that, you know, like I smell things and I feel things and I can almost taste things, and that sensation over my body really takes me to a different place and allows me to have that experience. But it takes a lot of practice to get there. I didn't sit down and say, okay, take me through visualization and here I am. It's like everything else in life. Be assured that even if it feels like you've been thinking throughout the entire meditation, you'll still actually be receiving the benefits of it. You haven't failed or wasted your time. And kind of as you become less identified with your thoughts and your story, you start to experience a whole greater peace to being open to the possibility of other things happening. So as we go on and we really learn to kind of deflect those thoughts that are coming on in our mind, it allows us that ability to really get good at kind of just deflecting those thoughts. And I found that as I got good at doing that kind of in my visualization, as I went on in my life and I really needed to focus on, you know, a test or an exam, or in my business now, as I'm really focused on, you know, preparing for my next client or my next business meeting, whatever it may be, it allows me to really, really detach from those other thoughts that are going to come in, like, you know, what's going on at home, you know, what is it that my wife wants me to do next, or what is it that I have to get done in the next week. Those things are the things that start to cram in and affect us in the business or the personal world that we can really deflect and get rid of. So moving on to the fourth myth, and that's that meditation is difficult and it doesn't work for me. I've heard this 1,000 times over. Almost every person who isn't immediately open to doing a visualization or meditation they're uncomfortable with the idea of it. Whether they think it's, for people who are doing yoga on the beach, or they think that they're a big, strong man that they don't need it, whatever it may be, it pushes them out of their comfort zone. And the excuse is that it doesn't work for me. This myth is rooted kind of in the image of meditation as a practice reserved for like saints and holy men and spiritual adepts. And reality, when you receive instruction from, an experienced, knowledgeable teacher, a coach, whoever it may be, meditation is actually really easy and really fun. And the techniques can be as simple as focusing on your breath. Like we talked about this. One reason why meditation may seem difficult is that we try so hard to concentrate. We're overly attached to results, or we're not sure that we're doing it right. And we're in a result-driven society today where everything is based on the results we get, how many homes we sell, how many cars we sell, how many, whatever it may be. It's all about the result. And when we go to work out, what's the number one reason that people quit trying to lose weight is because they don't see the results right here and now. We get embarrassed. We feel like it's kind of out of our comfort zone and we're not doing it right, or something like that. It's why I really, really encourage, and like I said, I use today a guided visualization. You can't do it wrong. In my experience in my career, learning meditation from, a coach or a teacher is the best way to ensure the process is super enjoyable for you and that you're getting the greatest results from it. And the last one is that it takes years of dedicated practice to receive any benefit from meditation. And I think the benefits for meditation visualization are, or they can be, both immediate and long-term. You can begin to experience benefits the very first time you sit down and meditate, and in the first few days of a daily practice. Many scientific studies actually provide evidence that meditation has profound effects on the mind-body physiology within just a few weeks of a practice. And for example, a landmark study led by Harvard University and Massachusetts General Hospital found that as little as 8 weeks of meditation not only helped people experience decreased anxiety and greater feelings of calm, it also produced growth in areas of the brain associated with your memory, empathy, sense of self, and stress regulation. And in my experience, I have commonly heard from like new meditators that they're able to really sleep soundly for the very first time in many, many years, just after a couple of days of meditation practice. I think that in saying that, I think that you really have to look at the common sense part of it. Just by meditating once or for a week, that's not going to increase your longevity of life. I think it's really kind of hand in hand. So a lot of people ask me, do I got to do this daily? Because in all reality, that's probably not going to happen. And I say, no, you do it as much as you can or as much as you want to. I try as hard as I possibly can to get in at least 3 sessions a week. That's my goal. That's my aim for the week. Some weeks I might do more and some weeks I might do less. but on average, I try to get in. That's my goal every week, is at least 3 times. And if I'm not getting that in, then I got to really rework my priorities. That's the way I think about it. There are several other myths that we could crush today, but I think people are starting to kind of get the point. You don't have to be super spiritual, into yoga, have tons of free time, or ready to hit the open road as a hippie. You simply need to be invested in you as a person, your overall health and well-being, and maybe looking for more clarity or awareness. I can tell you truthfully that visualizations changed my life like nothing else before. I speak passionately about it because of the changes and the improvements it's helped me make. I'm not saying it's the answer and the end all to be all for each and every single person. All I'm saying to most people is give it a true shot, give it a fair shot, make the investment, and see what happens. You have nothing to lose other than stress and anxiety, in all honesty. So we'll move on from the myths. We're going to talk a little bit about how we do it. First of all, I like to always say there's really no wrong way to do it. You're going to relax. As I've stated already several times throughout the presentation, guided meditations or visualizations are my go-to. They're the ones that I tell everybody. You can Google it or YouTube it, whatever you want, and you'll come up with 1,000 different ones. Simply get comfortable, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. The real purpose of meditation isn't to tune out and get away from it all, but in actuality, it's to tune in and get in touch with your true self, the eternal aspect of yourself that goes beyond all the ever-changing external circumstances of your life. In meditation, you dive below the mind's churning surface, which tends to be filled with those repetitive thoughts about the past and all the worries about the future, into the still point of pure consciousness. And that's where we want to get to. In this state of transcendent awareness, you let go of all the stories you've been telling yourself about who you are, what's limiting you, like your limiting beliefs, and all your shortcomings or where you fall short. You often get to experience the truth that your deepest self is kind of infinite and unbounded. As you practice on a regular basis, you cleanse kind of the windows of perception, and your clarity will expand. While some people try to use meditation as kind of a form of escape, as a way to kind of bypass some unresolved emotional issues, that approach actually runs counter to all the wisdom teachings about meditation and mindfulness all in itself. It's actually the total opposite of what it's supposed to be used for. In fact, there are a variety of meditation techniques specifically developed to identify, mobilize, and release stored emotional toxicity. So if you're coping with emotional upset or trauma, things like that, I recommend not turning to a visualization meditation, but more seeking out, a therapist or a coach or somebody like that, somebody in NLP that knows how to kind of identify those things and use them and move on. Don't necessarily turn to meditation for those types of things. It's not what it's really for. And the last thing I kind of really want to touch upon before I move on is that some people are really, really disappointed when they don't experience visions, or they don't see colors, or they don't levitate or hear a choir of angels, or get that glimpse of enlightenment when they meditate. It's not like, the homecoming of God, I guess. So they feel as though if they're not getting those things and they're not having this like out of body experience, that they're not really getting any benefit to it at all. And that's not true. Although we can have a variety of wonderful experiences when we meditate or we visualize, including some feelings of bliss or oneness, I guess people say. These aren't actually the purpose of meditation. In all reality, when it all comes down to, is the real benefits of meditation or visualization are what happens in the other hours of the day when we're going about our daily lives. When we emerge from our meditation session, we carry some of that stillness and that silence of our practice with us, allowing us to be more creative, more compassionate, more centered, more loving, more loving to ourselves and everyone else that we encounter. So those things that we start to learn and being able to get from doing the actual meditation are things that are going to carry on in our everyday lives, in our everyday actions, the things that we're doing. And that's where you really, really, really start to see the benefits of the hard work that you're putting in as you do it. So, like I said, sit down 10, 15 minutes, half an hour, and get it done. And you'll really reap the benefits truthfully. Like I said, I'm passionate about it, but I'm passionate about it because it works. I would never ever bring this to somebody or ask a client to do it if I thought it was just a bunch of hocus pocus nonsense. I really, really have saw the benefits, not just a bunch of research I've done and thought about it. It's things that I've actually physically gone through and got the benefits of it myself. So, like I said, it's not for everyone, but trust in me, if you're dedicated to it, you can see a lot of great benefit from it. We don't have time for the visualization exercise, but don't panic. We're going to do one another time. In saying that, next time on Core Pursuit, we're going to go through a visualization exercise. So if you normally join us and you're driving in your car or something like that, at that given time, I'll kind of ask you to tune us out or turn us off and maybe join us at a later time. But we're going to go through a visualization exercise. Something simple at first. So if you're really into visualization or meditation exercises, you'll find this really basic and kind of at the start. It'll be fairly short, but I want to get people used to doing the visualization. My ultimate goal with visualization exercises is to really get you goal orientated and take your goals and put them in a place in your timeline where we can accomplish any goal that you're looking to accomplish. So that's my overall goal. And I think it's really important. We talk so much, we post on Facebook and all this other good stuff about, kind of being self-aware and being relaxed and taking that busy out of the overwhelming part of our life. So I want to give some people the opportunity to do it and do it right. And if you like it, that's great. You can kind of continue on with it. And at the end of the day, if it just is not for you, then at least you've given it the opportunity, you've given it the chance, you've tried it out, and it didn't work for you. So that's what we're going to do on the next Core Pursuit in a couple weeks. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully you'll join us and reap the benefits from that as well. And lastly, before I let you go today, I just wanted to remind everybody who's listening, who's watching, that Core Pursuit is hosting its DISC workshop. So many people have asked us about this recently. It's happening tomorrow. There are only a couple seats left, so if you haven't registered, you might want to do that sooner than later. Like I said, there's only a couple spots left. By taking this workshop tomorrow, you receive a certification. It's in Oshawa at our KBVC head office, and it runs from 9 to 5. It's open to everybody. It's not just salespeople or whatever. It's open to absolutely everybody. It's a fantastic workshop. Going to be run by Kathleen and Andy. So hopefully we'll see you there. I want to thank everybody again for joining us, whether you're in the Facebook world or here with us on our live webcast. I really appreciate it. Until next time, be well, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you.